How soon should we allow our children to have cell phones? How old should they be before we stop parental controls and supervision over their online activities? So I'll jump on this one first. We are not we're not the cell phone gurus. It's kind of up to you and what kind of your situation is. When cell phones first started emerging, especially, our kids were pretty older than they are now when they're getting cell phones because it just wasn't a thing. I think our daughter was sixth grade because she was going on her class trip to wherever, down somewhere, and so we just wanted to be able to check in. But at that time, they were flip phones. They didn't have the internet and all that stuff on them, right? Now they have that, and they're getting them she dealt with it in kindergarten this year. So, it's a different world. But I'll say kind of the internet on the phones came along as our kids were growing, and so that was different. Knowing what I know now, and if I could go back, and what we've seen come out of that, it'd be a long time before kids now would have my kids. You can do your own thing, but my kids, there's other devices you can get them to kind of see where they're at, or for safety things. But there's a reason why Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs when he was alive, the Google guy, don't let their kids have devices because they know they're addictive. And once they take over, like it'd be easier to put parameters on them when you first give them the phone and say, this isn't going to the bedroom with you ever, or this is when you use it or when you're not, than trying to pull that back later, because that's an impossible task at that time. And so knowing what I know now, I would probably have definitely stricter guidelines than I did, but ours was a little bit different because they were flip phones that didn't really, you could text. I'd be extremely careful. There's just so much that they're getting into. The internet's wide open, and once you take away their innocence on some things, when they stumble across something or purposely because they hear their friends talking, like you can't take that back. And as far as stop parental controls, there's still, obviously my kids are adults. And so there's some things I can't do. But as long as I'm paying for a device, I can have some controls on it, right? And so if you're paying for it, no matter how old they are, I still pay my kids' cell phone services, and I tell them, you're going to have Life 360 on there. That's like I can see where they're at. Like as long as I'm paying for it, if you want to start paying for it, you don't want that, you can take it off. But as long as I'm paying for it, you have some things on it. So I think that's kind of where I land on that. Anything you'd add?
Yeah. No, I agree completely.
All right.
Yeah.
And you'll be hated. Just know that. But
yeah, it will cause a war.
We're not their friends. We're their parents.